I mean, I just
You
buy
buy
them.
all the games.
I buy
Yes.
all the games.
But you spend more money buying the games than you would if you
You went
just
on
had
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass.
What?
I like
Because I
Game
missed
Pass.
Gator Punching 2023 that released
No,
on
there's-
Game Pass?
You
There's
buy.
some shit that's on there. That's
There's some
good.
good shit on there.
There is some
There's
good
the
shit on
Yakuza
there.
That's
games,
just like a
the
year
Persona
old.
games.
But the problem is, I already got all the good shit. And when I got Game
Uh-huh.
Pass, I realized I already had all the good shit.
I'm not gonna fucking whatever, bro.
Alright, whatever. I'll be playing it on Steam anyway. So
No, it is on Steam. Apparently, it's very playable on.
I'm sure it is. I mean, the Steam Deck is a super powerful PC. So
Welcome to the next installment of Crook and Murder. I'll be your host, Kenny Crook Irish Kirby. I'm joined today by my co-host, Maxwell Murder, and special guest, Alex.
Just because that was a little bit of an ambiguous statement, I am not also a co-host.
yeah,
Special
guest.
But he is technically reading the podcast outline. So I want to make today officially your promotion day. We are going to double your pay and make you special guest leader.
Yeah, you're doubling your pay from 0
to 0.
to
I like
0.
it.
Yeah.
The leader thing, I have a little problems with that because it's almost synonymous with host, but that's okay.
I think narrator is a better term. But
Special guest narrator until we
Yeah.
can find a better voice.
Oh, damn, that hurts. Get away, fly. Get away. Yeah, is that all we're doing for introductions? Should I get into this, bitch?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're actually, guys, today we're talking about the spirituality of dreams. We touched upon the science of dreams, why we dream, what we dream, how we dream, you know, the whole 9 yards. But today we're going to get a little esoteric about it and touch upon the astral plane, what our dreams mean, and how they affect us on a spiritual level.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be turning it over to special guest narrator, Alex.
Yeah, so exactly what Kirby said, right? So what about more about the spiritual and symbolic side of dreams? Are dreams windows to other realities? Do we leave this plane of existence when we sleep? And why does Grandma keep asking me to play Scrabble? Who the fuck knows?
Hey, I got a question about that one, by the way. My grandma was a professional Scrabble, I mean, not professional, but she was an amazing Scrabble player and taught my cousin and I how to be the most hated Scrabble players in the world.
Do you know those obnoxious, like obscure 2-letter words that connect shit? You motherfucker.
I memorized the 2, 3, 4-letter word lists, and I also memorized like every word that has Q without U.
Unbelievable.
But when I read that, I was like, is Kirby like dipping into my mind?
So my grandma and I never played Scrabble, but we did play cards. She was really good at poker. Though I'm pretty sure we caught her cheating.
Oh,
a couple times. So, you know, she's like just straight maverick up there.
The grandma of the old West, man, fucking ace up the sleeve.
My grandmother was an extremely competitive person. She played professional tennis until she went to the army, and she used to say she wouldn't even play tennis with us when we were kids because she was like, well, if you can't really like hit the ball, there's no point in teaching how to serve. I'm not even joking. That's how she was.
I guess we'll just use Scrabble.
If you fucking suck at tennis, there's no point in teaching you it. Peace.
Yeah. Well, and she was like, well, you know, when we played Scrabble, like my cousin and I, like she taught us how to be fucking Scrabble sharks. My cousin and I, if we play Scrabble against each other, the board turns into a triangle and we stalemate. We can't even finish a game.
Honestly, I'm just imagining that part in Archer where it shows like him trying to do army basic training, and his mother turns to like the instructor and he's like, he's gay.
I mean, yeah, my grandmother might have done some shit like that.
You know what your grandmother and Archer being gay and playing Scrabble all probably have in common? The waltz.
The waltz. They all waltz. Yeah.
Um, so, so waltzing the
They did the
astral plane.
waltz. They did the waltz of
Doing the
life.
There's the waltz
Doo-doo-doo.
of life.
All right.
There are two types of realities when we dream. The reality we live in, where our brain processes its daily, weekly, monthly discoveries, and a separate reality that our soul wanders, known as the astral plane.
Mm.
Um, what do you guys think of the astral plane? I'm assuming Ken's gonna say it's real. I mean, that's
It's
kind of
real. I mean,
what he's,
the evidence is right there.
you know.
And by
In the
evidence,
outline.
I mean complete lack of evidence and total faith. But listen, I clearly read up on it, written by a bunch of spiritual hippies.
Oh,
So
really? I was thinking you just watched some Doctor Strange movies and we're like, "Yep, got it."
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange knows where it's at. My thoughts on the astral plane is it exists, and we are put. I mean, we talked about this last episode, but we're put here on this earth to learn how to react to trials and tribulations, so we can grow as human beings.
And so that we can quantum leap eventually.
Oh
Eventually,
god,
yeah. And
yeah.
I bet
Eventually.
each of us has a part to.
Dracula with Down syndrome, man. Oh, so did not age well. Oh, I know we said that
I
before,
know, but yeah,
but so
bad
just for
choice.
everybody, so for everyone out there, the astral plane, which is also known as the astral realm or the astral world, is a realm of existence that's separate from, kind of the material world that we live in, right? Earth, the universe, physics, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so
And
throw your science facts away because they do not belong here.
Well, I have some theories that back it up scientifically, but we can talk
and
about that later.
so we can get, so I'd actually love to hear that. So it is the world of celestial spheres crossed by the soul and its ethereal body. You can almost think of it as like the boundary between life, death, and rebirth. So I kind of thought of it as like a cell, right? So like maybe like the material world is like the cell inner working and mitochondriac and all that bullshit. And then you got like the boundary, the wall of the cell, and then
Yeah,
outside of it is like the astral plane, which is like the overarching environment that our universe takes place in, if that makes sense. And
I
then
was
it's got
thinking, I was thinking something similar actually, but
yeah,
so I was thinking, so okay, if we shrink the world, shrink everything down to atoms and even smaller, like quarks and electrons and protons and stuff, the nucleus of an atom uh, and the boundary of that atom are so like in relative sense, it's so much space that actually like even like things that we touch and stuff are full of empty space, like just full, like 99% of everything is empty space. And I kind of like thought about it as like the empty space, not even the boundary past the boundary of the atom, but like the space within the atom between the
so
like
like the
proton
fluid
and
within the membrane, essentially
yeah,
fluidic.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just
Oh,
if
that's
there's nothing
interesting.
there, then what is it?
So I think of it like I used to think as a child. I'm like, okay, what exists beyond me? Like it goes, I know the Earth exists. What exists within the Earth? And it's like, oh, the solar system. I'm like, okay, where does the solar system exist within a galaxy? It's like, okay, where does a
Hey,
galaxy?
Ken,
Yeah,
what shape is the Earth?
round. But
Okay, all right.
Well,
half of it is holographic because it's very clearly
yeah,
flat.
it is round. It's a circle, not a sphere.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it took a second.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that did take a second. I like that a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
But
Oh shit,
Right.
I'm gonna have to steal that. Oh, that's
within
so good.
within the galaxy, we exist within the universe, but there our knowledge stops, right?
It's
Like,
well, it stops about 13.5 billion years ago because that's as far as we can really see.
yeah, exactly. And I think that there's something outside of that, and outside of that, the astral plane. It's the concept that uh, think about it this way: we're living in the universe's most advanced quantum computer with the possibility to produce an infinite number of dimensions. So when we go up there, we choose the life we want to live. We choose the people we want to be with. Blah 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 blah, so on and so forth.
So I have a question about the astral plane. So we can talk about it like with esoteric terms like life and death and stuff. But what about like Kirby and I linking up in Dreamland and like high fiving
Yeah.
and then
So
waking up and
I
being like, "Yo, dude, that was cool."
yeah, so I think we get into that a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
but later on in the outline, it's if I remember correctly, it's more about visiting, um, like relatives or friends or loved ones that have moved on, right? That have died.
Mm,
But I don't see why it wouldn't work the same way because essentially, and we'll get into all of this, right? It's the way that it was explained to me in this is it's just your consciousness is going somewhere else,
yeah,
right?
On
that's
the
where I was
So
kind of thinking like scientifically like almost kind of makes sense that like visiting each other's dreams isn't like out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, it is some science fiction. You have to kind of make some shit up, but like it's not like that. Just that. Like, forget about life and death and like the astral plane. But if we just think about like Dreamland, it's not like it's not
except
so weird.
except it all ties together. Because
Yeah, yeah.
here's how it works. Like we're gonna get into it, but broad strokes. When we sleep, we get in contact with our higher conscious, essentially where our soul resides on the astral plane. And it's like, dude, you're fucking up. Stop smoking. Stop drinking. Stop driving fast. Just like fucking go
Just like
back down
Boulder's
there
Gate.
and be normal for 10 seconds. And
you
then we
guys
get
like
back
psych? Sorry. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
and then
Sorry.
we get back down to our lower conscious, basically our minds that are constrained by the scientific facts of this world, you know, and we interpret that as go Taco Bell
Mm,
because
Um,
we can't. It's hard for us to understand the messages delivered to us from our higher selves. But
buy
go
a
on.
bunch of Fritos.
Frito Lays. You guys like Psych, the show?
I've never seen
My
Psych.
mom really liked it. I never watched it.
Okay, so I really like Psych, and the only reason I bring this up is because they have a really amazing scene in the second movie that they did, where they're both the main characters, Gus and Sean, are drugged, and they're both sleeping, and one of them wakes up and starts dreaming about someone they knew that died during like the actual TV run,
Mm,
and the guy's like a little baby, like like dressed up as like a little baby, but it's Sean having the dream, but then has Gus comes into the hallway and can see this dreamed figure, and then it like seamlessly leads back into reality of them being awake because they see someone like
mm.
in reality that's moving around, and that's what I kind of think of the dreaming space
It sounds
being
about
like
right. Yeah.
when you say share the dreaming space.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
go
there
on.
are other well, I was just gonna say there are other people or other schools of thought that think that the astral plane is also populated by angels, demons, immaterial beings, spirits. Benedict Cumberbatch, um,
He's in my dreams all the time.
that's
If
sexy
Astral
British
Plane
man.
was just Benedict Cumberbatch all over the place, I'd be like, I've reached heaven. This
As
guy is awesome.
like every role he's ever played. He's Sherlock. He's Doctor Strange. He's fucking uh uh other people.
Sorry, Benedict Cumberbatch and Scarlett Johansson would be my heaven.
Yeah. And then, as Ken was
He's in my
saying,
dreams a lot too.
and so as Ken was saying, right, our consciousness um itself resides within this astral plane. So it's already there, right? Like it's like a part of us is always there even when we're conscious in the material world, right?
so the
Am
the
I
way
understanding that correctly?
the way it works, because I looked into it a bit more for our conspiracy theories episode, is that, and I've been listening to a lot of Coast to Coast AM, the finest insane minds on the planet.
Oh yes.
But essentially, the source is what one would call God. The source is like all of us. It's within everything and everything we do. Um, and we are portions of that source. And a portion of that source stays on the astral plane, and it all falls back to essentially it learning right from wrong.
Yeah,
So
okay.
every
So
single
it's
one
like
of us is
it's like that
contributing to the whole.
Voyager. Yeah, so it's like that Voyager episode
Yeah.
where you know what I'm going to talk about
Yeah.
when
I do.
Henry Kim and the woman switch places,
Yeah.
switch places, and they're like, "No, there's no way that your fucking consciousness goes anywhere." And then at the end of the episode, they realize like the energy field surrounding the fucking planet is
Yeah.
people's consciousness like leaving their
Yeah.
bodies and returning to this like energy plane. I can see you being like, "Fuck Voyager, fuck."
No. I remember that episode, and I don't like Voyager, but that that's not. There's so many episodes of Star Trek that are like that.
I like that. Yeah, no, Voyager definitely repeats.
Oh yeah. Well, even
Actually,
Strange New Worlds does too.
all of
Like,
the yeah, but Strange New Worlds does it in a good way.
oh yeah, no, they do a great. I mean,
There's
they do
definitely,
an episode like that. So
but so basically, all of in the entirety of spiritual life exists in the astral plane, and you may be asking, like, because we've been kind of trying to drive at this idea, but how large is the astral plane? Um, it's hundreds of times larger than our material plane. But I'd love to see that study. I don't know where you
yeah,
pulled that
I know.
fact up.
Yeah,
With billions upon billions of
yeah,
spiritual worlds teeming with the astral being, like teeming with astral beings. So that part makes me think of fucking like heaven in Dragon Ball Z, like the afterworld in Dragon
Yeah,
Ball Z,
no, it
where it's like,
100% is.
oh, all right.
Well, okay. So Kirby mentioned this a little bit. So like, if we think like, there is a theory, right? That and it's an out there theory, but theory is that our entire universe is one large quantum computer, and in quantum computing, basically, the more mass that you give to the computer, the more powerful it is, because you can use, in theory, not the way that we have kind of like rudimentary quantum computers right now with like qubits and stuff, but in theory, like, you could use any particle to do the computing and to be in superposition. So like, uh, a quantum computer, the mass of our universe, would be a super powerful computer. So like, when we were talking about that, I was kind of thinking like, well, it kind of makes sense, because if this universe is just a big computer, like, the astral plane above it that created it has got to be way bigger.
Yeah, but then what created the astral plane?
Todd Howard.
Yeah, Todd Howard, whoever the hell that is, I don't know.
Like I don't know. I part of me I get
Stanley.
well no I get a little weirded out just to get serious for a second. I guess not weirded out, but I'm hesitant about like the theory about like the universe being a quantum computer
Well, I don't
because
believe it, but
but yeah, but like what problem is that supposed to be a solution to? Because it's obviously a metaphysical solution for something.
well,
It's a
No,
metaphysical
it
solution.
doesn't have to be though.
it
What does a
does.
computer do? No, it doesn't. A
Think,
computer computes, right? Like, it doesn't have to compute one thing. It can compute trillions upon trillions of things. Even the
ex-
No,
laptop
but
I've got.
except it
what I'm saying
does.
is it's a metaphysical solution of what where did the universe come from or what it is, right?
No,
But it ends up not answering those fucking questions
it
anyways.
No, it
does. Hold
doesn't.
on. Yes, it does. As I've been saying from the
Mhm.
beginning, and since the conspiracy episode, it totally does. Because the reason we're here within like the swoosh swoosh quantum computer is to grow as human beings. If we sit on the astral plane, the fourth dimension, and the one above that is the fifth dimension, and we want to reach that, we have to put ourselves through trials and tribulations on this
No, and
physical plane.
I understand that. I understand that part.
So that
I
would
get
be
that.
the
I get
entire
that.
point of the computer.
I get that point, but it does contradict how a computer works, even a quantum
But
computer.
yeah, but that's not even
Except
what
it
I'm
doesn't.
talking about.
Oh, it does though.
But then you're left with
Okay, how
again.
does it contradict how a computer works?
Well, quantum computer relies on something called superposition, right? It's the whole old Schrodinger's cat experiment, right? So it doesn't have to do with if we're breaking it down to just computing, right? It's not necessarily like humans and consciousness like moving around. It's literally the atoms that hold us together that are doing the computing.
Yes, that's
So
part of the
like,
source. We
yeah, I
are
get the source, but us speak, but the the uh, conscious beings and their choices don't actually affect what a quantum computer does.
okay. Allow me to put this into a uh, framework that you nerds will understand. We are living in Baldur's Gate. Every decision that we make affects the outcomes of
No,
everything that happens in
yeah,
our
and
realm.
I
No,
get that.
I get
And
I
that, too, but
so,
understand that.
and
it's separate.
so,
It's
if
two
you,
separate things.
it's not two separate things.
It
Baldur's
is.
Gate is a literal
No, no, no,
fucking computer.
no. It's a computer game. It's a program that runs on a
Oh
computer.
my god. No, it's not. Okay, I mean, I get it. Yes, that is what it is. But the whole point of playing Baldur's Gate is to live in a fantasy world to which it may change you as a person. I know for a fact The Witcher has made me outlook or change my
Yeah,
outlook on certain things in life. Am I
that's
not right?
different. That's different than that's a simulation. That's a simulation theory, not a quantum computing theory.
It's okay. We are living in a simulation of a
Okay.
very advanced computer.
Okay. Well, so if we look at it that way, then we are NPCs within a program.
Yes. That's what I've
Okay.
been saying. A PC
But
that can hold
but let's
multiple programs.
draw a very stark difference between the idea of the universe being a quantum computer and the universe being a simulation,
Okay,
because
you're
they're
looking at
two very different things.
no, because you're looking at this in black and white, right?
No,
We create
I'm looking at it like a computer
we
scientist.
created this computer to run a program or aka an infinite amount of programs.
So the universe is the computer, and Earth and the people are the simulation.
It,
The
Is that what you're saying? Like the physics of the universe is the computer? Is that what you're saying?
the dimensions are the simulations. Every single dimension that exists is running within something that must contain it. So, therefore, it's a computer. Therefore, the simulations are the program. We live
Yeah.
in
See,
a program.
I think you,
you still
I
lost
think
me,
you,
but
I think you two are, I think you two are saying similar things, but in different ways.
no, I'm arguing terminology is all I'm arguing. I'm not saying that I know I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that if beings of another realm said we want to create a big ass quantum computer and it's going to be a universe, the universe itself is like the hardware, not the software.
Yeah.
So I'm just again, I guess
So
I know what
even
you're saying.
I see what you're
Unless
saying.
it's
So
a
Kirby,
virtualization work.
well,
The quantum computing doesn't work like that.
yeah. So yeah, because Ken, you're saying that we're the software, whereas his position is like a quantum
If you
computer is we would be part of the hardware, not the
Yeah,
software.
We're
Yeah,
not. I
that's
mean,
exactly
we're
what I'm
not.
saying.
We're not
I see
part
what
of
you're
the
saying.
hardware. I mean, in a sense, we are because the hardware is required to run us.
Well, but no, I'm saying that a quantum computer relies on matter
Yeah.
to compute. So if you're creating a universe, everything that's happening within the universe doesn't matter because you're computing something with the mass in the universe, not the
My
simulation that's
God.
running in the universe.
I
What if
will.
we're the quantum computer running the astral plane?
I will agree to disagree.
I'm just saying that's how quantum
I
computing works.
will agree to
This
disagree. I'm not going to take this concept that we're
is
going to be arguing.
fact.
Look,
All right.
I'll
So
agree to disagree.
we'll
I
put the
just
hammer down on this one.
We could be a simulation running in a quantum computer, or we could be a quantum
The
computer.
I
quantum
feel
computer
like you're
itself.
nitpicking,
Yeah.
Max. So I
I
will
am
I don't think he's
agree.
nitpicking. I don't think
will
he's nitpicking.
agree
I
to
think
disagree.
he's
I just I can't.
no. I think you should just agree to agree.
No, you shouldn't tell me how to live my life. I can agree to
You're not my
disagree
dad.
just fine.
No, my dad.
Look, look. So quantum computing theory. The more diverse.
Jesus, we're gonna either
the
look.
more-
We're not gonna talk about this for 30 minutes, Max. We're done.
I'm just saying.
We're done.
Look,
You
we're done?
you made your
Okay.
point. I made my point. We're moving past it.
There's some papers that you should read about quantum computing because quantum computing is full
God
on real.
damn it! Can you carry the
Hey, all right.
conversation on, Alex?
All right. So as we said, our souls or consciousnesses can waltz into the astral plane, and most commonly this is via through dreaming, right? So when we
Woo.
dream, our consciousnesses are able to enter the astral plane and play with Benedict Cumberbatch's beautiful face.
Just like Baldur's Gate.
So these are called out of body experiences, or OB, or OBE, for short. You inhabit another body during these travels, called your astral body. And while in this vessel, you are no longer limited by the constraints of time, space, the laws of physics. These moments allow us to experience ourselves as pure spirit. Maybe you want to say pure energy, or maybe you want to say pure consciousness. I think in this context, all of those words are synonymous with one another. They're all meaning the same thing. And that's why you can, within your dreams or the astral plane, you can walk on water, Jesus, or through walls, fuck Hollywood, because they never fall through the goddamn floors.
Yeah,
and
what the hell?
Yeah, dude, come on. And fly through the air or free dive in the ocean. I was gonna make a dark joke about that one, but decided not to.
Wait, what's the dark joke?
Yeah, wait. I want to know what the
Let's just say
that now.
You can't just say I was going to make a dark joke and then not do the
I
dark joke.
was just gonna say that there were a few people that free dove in the ocean, but they weren't on the astral plane, and they went.
Are you? I'm not going to say too soon because it wasn't even too soon after it happened.
Like I don't. Okay.
I guess they didn't go like this. They more went like yeah. They more went like this.
My mentality on that.
They weren't free diving though.
They weren't free diving. That is true.
They put themselves in that position.
Yeah, there's definitely responsibility needs to be
except for the kid. His dad.
Dude, I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
Oh, God.
I read an interview. I read an interview with the aunt of that kid,
shit.
and she basically was like, he didn't want to go on this trip.
He was terrified.
But it was over Father's Day weekend, and he didn't want to the dad wanted to do this for Father's Day, so he didn't want to say no. And I feel so, dude, like 19, like, oh man, dude.
That's honestly the one thing I feel bad about on that. I mean, fuck the rest of them.
The rest of them, but that kid was just he didn't. I read that he was terrified going into it.
That same here.
Yeah. There were so many people that didn't want to do that. By the way, there were a lot of the guy from Expedition Unknown refused to go on that thing.
Yeah, same thing with James Cameron. There was big names that were like, "No, dude, you haven't followed the proper typical procedures for this shit. Like, there's no way of knowing."
I'm not going to go down in a PVC pipe.
But so our physical minds cannot conceive of the astral plane. We can believe it, just as Ken does. We can touch on the cornerstones of it, which I'm assuming, what's that mean? That means kind of we can feel the outline of it almost.
We understand its constraints or lack of constraints.
So basically, people claim they can travel the astral plane. I don't know how true that is, but I think in various parts of our lives, like how we feel or how we react to situations, all that's in touch with the astral plane.
That's good. We'll get into that. So just I know that's later on in this. But the astral plane exists on a higher realm of consciousness or dimension, or this is one of those things where my philosopher brain gets really hung up on some of these conversations that we have because we're using so many words synonymously with one another, but that's okay. We're not here to fucking parse out the definition of consciousness and dimension.
Only one of us has an advanced degree in philosophy, so let's not split
Yeah,
hairs.
but I'm fucking stupid as shit. You guys could totally keep up with me if we did. But anyway,
I love philosophy, but more from a logician standpoint.
oh, see, that's where I hate fucking philosophy.
That's where I love it.
I think it loses the fucking human value of it. But anyways,
I think
fuck
Socrates.
you.
okay, that's a whole separate conversation.
Honestly, I'd say Socrates had some pretty good points. I mean, like
Socrates. Yeah.
Socrates. He
Yeah,
did.
he did.
Socrates and Patio.
He
and,
did.
and Freddie Nachos.
He did essentially predict the astral plane almost. I mean, like the whole fucking cave mentality, you know, of just like if we're staring at a wall, we're just staring at a wall, we're just staring at a wall, and people in the back of the cave are like, "That's just a fucking cave. Leave the goddamn cave."
That is not. I just want to say that is not his point with that at all.
No.
Has
Look,
nothing to do with the astral
I'm
plane.
not gonna argue with the advanced philosophy, but
Also, that wasn't Socrates. That was Patio.
well, some people would say Socrates was Pladio.
Oh my god.
Well, anyways, all right. The one of the reasons that we forget 90% of our dreams is because of this barrier between our physical minds and consciousness with the astral plane, right? So
Is that why
ahead.
like when I have a sex dream, like I get like right up to the point of like shooting a load, and then like I'm chasing that for another hour?
In the dream, or like when you
No,
wake up?
In the dream.
What do you mean you're chasing? Like you're just banging for a straight hour in your dream?
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna go, and then like that just like goes forever.
You're edging forever.
Yeah, maybe this is just something that happens to me. Shit.
I can safely say I've never had that type of dream.
Honestly,
Really?
yeah, I can't remember.
Where
the
I
last
was
time
like
I've had
on the verge, because you're talking about like on the verge of an orgasm, but it never comes. Never had that dream.
My theory is that like because like in dreams only last a couple of minutes, but in your head they can last. They seems like they're lasting
so it's been
forever.
extended.
So like in my head, it's probably because I'm having like a really hardcore dream, and like I'm like physically at that point, and my brain is just like taking
blocking
it and, like,
the physicality. Yeah,
moving it into slow motion. I also wanted to say that on acid once I did walk through a sliding glass window.
See, there you go. Astral
I think
plane.
you've told
Right there.
this
That's
story.
proof.
I have told this story before, and I'm going to tell it
Yeah.
again because I was on acid and the door was closed and I walked through it.
See, and you said there's no proof of the astral plane. It's right there.
But so how do we remember our dreams, right? It's because our spiritual side, our astral plane side, is trying to relay a message, or has learned a lesson that it wants us to remember, or it met with a being, or I guess we met with a being that is important to us, right? So our higher consciousness that's on the astral plane has something important to tell us. Now, Ken, because it doesn't really go into this, I actually have a serious question for you.
Yeah.
Is it because, and I think you've alluded to this, right? Is it because the astral plane, is it omnipresent to the world that we live in?
Yeah. It's like some people
all
believe
happening around us.
Some people believe, you know, like our soul is split. Like part of it is within the astral plane that exists within the world that we exist in. Like it's superimposed on it almost. And our lower vibrations exist on the fucking earth until we pass away and go to the next level and choose to either be reborn or can move on or just chill on the astral plane. Now,
and this is why I was able to walk through a door.
Yeah, and also glitches in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the door didn't shatter, right?
No, the door didn't shatter. Although I looked back and it was open, but it seemed like it had been hours since I walked through it. And I was like, guys, I just walked through that door, and like two of the guys I was with agreed with me, and the other guys were like, "It was open, you dumbass."
Were they all on acid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Talk
all
about an unreliable narrator.
we were all tripping balls.
This research might be slightly skewed.
But hey, there is okay. Look, we're gonna go back to science. There is like in physics, like there is credence to matter passing through matter. So like if I hit my desk like over and over again, like there's like a wicked small chance that my hand might just pass through it.
Oh, well, yeah, what's the famous is the slit experiment, right?
Well, it's a little bit like the slit experiment, but like Heisenberg's uncertainty theory, like all plays into it. But yeah, like I was saying, like even my hand, even like my hand and my desk, it's mostly empty space. Like the 99%, maybe even higher than that, of both things are empty space. So there is like a very slim chance that like I hit it just right and like my hand just goes whoop.
Okay. All right. I will do this. All right. I will give you the quantum computer argument if I can successfully say that we live within a computer that runs multiple programs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
So is quantum computing essentially like petri dishes? Like aliens coming down, installing us, and being like, let's see what happens.
No,
What are you doing on camera, Alex?
Hanging my finger on the table,
I
seeing
just,
if
I just,
yeah, he's trying to get it to go through. I'm going to say that you could do it a billion times and it won't.
for all those listeners out there, his hand was just moving up and down really quickly out of camera view.
I mean, it's probably happened to all of us when we've been like jerking it, like, and we just didn't notice. But no, okay.
Well,
So
wait, hold on. We just didn't notice that our hand went through our body and straight to our asshole.
no. Well, I mean,
don't tease me with a good time.
look, sometimes hands wander. You might tickle your taint a little bit. That's different. But I'm saying if you're going real fast, like and like your hand passes through your dick, and then it catches your dick again, you might not notice.
That's true. Maybe my dick exists on the astral plane like 2 or 3 times a day.
So I could do a whole podcast on quantum computing. All I'm gonna say is that like a rudimentary quantum computer uses usually like electrons or photons or protons, and it relies on not observing said particles, right? So like when a particle is in superposition, it hasn't been observed, so it's negative and positive at the same time, just like Schrodinger's cat. It's dead and alive at the same time. So you can use that to do like crazy computing, like, and the most common thing that we would use quantum computing for now would be creating cryptography and cracking cryptography. Because if you have something that's like already come up with the actually I saw a talk on this. This is a really good example of the difference between a computer and a quantum computer, regular computer, quantum computer. If you're trying to solve a maze, the easiest way to do it in programming in a regular computer is to trace the outline of the maze completely till you find the exit. Not to try to go through the maze and hit the dead ends and stuff. Just trace the wall, right? Map out the wall and then you know the exit. In a quantum computer, the solution of the program is already kind of known. So like instead of tracing the wall of the maze, it just goes through the maze.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Now,
No, not at all.
If we're talking about
that's okay.
if we're talking about mass and stuff and that type of thing, like what I was saying about the universe is like if you're going to create a big ass quantum computer, you want to actually have the mass and the atoms and the particles to do the computations, and then there's another layer on top of that, which would be the software layer.
So
okay.
just like Max explaining quantum computers to me.
Whoa. Wait,
Hold on. Settle down, because this is the best.
Settle down.
This is the best lead-in we've ever had.
I wanna
Just
hear
like
it.
Max explaining quantum computers to me and Ken, sometimes, or most of the time, when the astral plane side of our consciousness is relaying these messages, it's distilled down into a level that we can understand within our corporeal form. So
There you
we
go.
understand the words that are coming out of Max's mouth, but a lot of the higher concepts in theory are totally lost on us.
I get
Um,
this is all making sense. Like I get this.
um,
It's like
I will admit I do not feel bad about this. The maze thing did not help me understand that
Really?
at all. No. Like, is it just less work to go through the maze than it is to
Yeah.
outline the whole thing? Is
Yeah,
that
it's a ton
all
less
right.
work.
Okay.
Because
Let's let it is.
because
I don't know. I've done some mazes, man, and I've had to go through it a lot of times before I get to the exit.
quantum
so-
computing is predetermined destiny.
kind of, yeah, kind of.
It's
Yeah,
like
I-
playing a
I'm gonna-
fucking
I'm gonna-
Telltale game versus Baldur's Gate.
I'm gonna say yes, but so like yeah, when you if you have a maze in 2 dimensions, if you write a program in a regular computer to solve the maze, you don't run through the maze. You map the maze and figure out where the exit is. It's almost like you just hack it. You just like because it's easier
Yeah,
to
I see
do.
where-
It's
yeah, I see
procedure.
what you're saying.
It's a
Yeah.
procedural thing, right? Whereas quantum
Yeah,
computing
yeah.
is a lot more like there's
Like
a
the
there's,
Flash running through a maze.
And
exactly
to
exactly.
address the Socrates thing, this is what I meant by that comment. Socrates, though he didn't mean it at the time, aptly summed up the astral plane in that analogy, where it's just like the astral plane is all around us, but we only exist in a small, tiny little cave of it, and we can only see one portion of it. What that means, let me illustrate. There is this video out there, you should look it up, called Fourth Dimensional Minecraft.
Uh-huh.
They make a good summary of the fourth dimension. The second dimension, for instance, starts with like a 2D plane, and it's a guy on like on a two-dimensional plane. You know, he only sees the line that's directly in front of him. And he's like, if we zoom this out and give him a 3D map, we see he's in a cave. We understand he's in a cave, but all he sees is a wall. Now, if we took that guy and put him into the third dimension, or even switch the third dimension somewhat, the wall changes to a path he can use. That is the fourth dimension to the third dimension. We only
Just
see
like-
a small portion of it.
I made Minecraft, but it's 4D. I'm watching that exactly.
It's kind of it sounds just like those motorcycles from Tron.
Yeah, actually. You know, but imagine
Right?
someone was moving the map on you. That is
Yeah.
the fourth dimension to us. Like, we only
Yeah.
see a portion at any given time because a fourth dimension exists outside time, a concept that is kind of difficult for us to grasp.
Well, I just want to this has always bothered me, but the fourth dimension is technically time.
Yeah,
And-
I was gonna bring that up.
According to Einstein, time and space are sort of intertwined, so there's like space time. But
Yeah. I mean, like, once you get to the fourth dimension, time in itself ceases to exist because you can manipulate it at that point. At that
Well, I'm
point,
assuming at
it's like
some point
moving
we're gonna
water.
learn that Einstein was fucking wrong about something. So
he wasn't.
he
wasn't. If you want to like go down a good Google hole, look up like there actual like physicists and physics teachers have files that they call crackpot files of people writing them telling them how Einstein was wrong.
Okay, I'll look
So-
that up. I'm gonna look
go-
up Minecraft 4D and fucking crackpot Einstein theories.
You'll find some
Um,
great stuff. People forget, like people who know nothing about math and physics are like Einstein was wrong, and here's why.
Yeah. So to get back on topic a little bit, right? So these messages that our astral plane selves are trying to tell us are usually accomplished through pictures and symbols within our dreams, right? You know, something similar to hieroglyphs or a poop emoji with a face on it, because that definitely means something.
That's pretty much all we can
Absolutely.
understand from them. Because they'll be like, don't smoke, and we'll see a poop emoji with a face on it.
A poop emoji on the face on it.
Seems about right. Shit.
But now we're going to get into interpreting dreams, right? Which
Ooh.
I found a little bit fascinating, and definitely for anybody that is listening, if anybody's listening, don't just harp on Freud about interpreting dreams because the man may have popularized the movement, but he was real shitty at it.
Well, and yeah, it's not like he was the only person to like, let's like analyze dreams.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. Yeah.
he just was bad at it. He seemed
But
to really like his mom a lot.
but interpreting dreams, which I should have read this before. I guess we're gonna focus that mainly on another episode, right, Ken? That's gonna be its own.
You're just going to
kind of
skip this
episode.
entire paragraph because you didn't read it?
No. I mean, I read it, but I just
Oh.
forgot to read the second part of the clause of the sentence.
Let's see.
But you can
Yeah.
use things like dream books, or some type of reference material as like a start, as it'll give you a very generalized version of that symbol. So maybe,
You're now
it'll give you
special
maybe,
ed guest narrator. So you know.
yeah, right. So it'll give you like maybe like a cultural, meaning of the symbol because or the society you live in. So it'll kind of help you guide maybe what influences the meaning for you. But to truly interpret the dream, you must decode it in how the symbol relates to you specifically in your own experiences,
This is all
which I
starting to make more sense to me, actually.
which I think is important, right? I
Yeah.
think that is very important. Which later on, well, there's a good example here, right? So a swimmer seeing water will get excited. They love the water. They swim in the water. They race in the water, whatever. While a non-swimmer may be terrified of it, right?
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense, right? Someone who does base jumping may not have, because there's the typical dream of like someone falling
yeah.
infinitely, and that's usually a very anxiety induced filling dream. But I would imagine someone that does like a lot of base diving or cliff jumping or parachuting, they probably don't see that in the same way.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they did, and now that they do that, they don't anymore.
Oh, that's a good point too. That's
And-
actually a really good point.
interpreting dreams boils down to this. It's like you use the book as a jumping off point, but then you decode it to how it means to you. So if anybody is like, this book will tell you what your dreams mean, they're shill and they're selling you shit because they're not corporate billboards. Dreams do not encompass like a fact per fact.
Yeah, that I totally agree. Like you can't just say like this book says that you dreamed of a bear, so it must mean that the bear is a big gay man for everybody.
Or you're in love with Putin. One of the two.
You gotta be careful. He might crash your plane if you're in love with him.
Dude, all right, let's not even get into that. Not even, dude. The minute I read that news report that motherfucker died in a plane crash, I was like,
with his entire executive board.
Yep. Then I was like, yeah, all right, Putin, you didn't shoot that fucker down.
Oh my god.
Like,
the Russians are horrible. It's like, no, we didn't use polonium and we didn't use nerve gas to try to kill the guy, but we didn't kill him. We killed a fucking family who was innocent.
Honestly.
Oh, are you talking about in the UK? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Jesus.
They do that shit. I hate the Russians.
I hate to say this, but my favorite thing that the Russians have done, and this is going to be taken in a very wrong way, so hear me out before making comments.
I'm gonna.
And ran as a spy
is invading the Ukraine, and what I mean by that is not like.
Okay. Where is this
like
going?
I said, hear me out. Hear me out. Because Russia was like, we got this great big army, we got this, whatever. We're gonna go take Ukraine, and Ukraine are the fucking Ewoks to their stormtroopers. Ukraine is like putting the smackdown on Russia right now.
So you said a good thing and phrased it very fucking horribly, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
but all of these.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. It's what happens when you conscript like every single person in your country to like fight a war that should have been you said was going to be won.
Yeah, they don't want to fucking fight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So all of these concepts about like the symbols and the objects within your dreams can also be, they're the same concepts that apply to the people that you meet in your dreams. So the best question to ask yourself is, what were the range of emotions in the dream? Did you have any strong or powerful feelings, any repulsions, any passionate attractions? Which, I mean, we didn't really talk about passionate attractions. Well, I guess Putin on a bear, but
Yeah. Well,
um,
and I talked about like getting to that point, but
And Benedict
but yeah,
Cumberbatch.
but by
oh yeah.
answering these, you can begin to decode the dream itself. And the best way to go about this is through meditation. Meditation clears the mind.
Medication.
Yeah, clears the mind and helps you bridge the gap between yourself here and your higher self.
Did you almost say masturbation?
I
You
almost
said
said
medication.
I said medication.
That's a
But
great way to achieve it too. Listen,
honestly, it works.
yeah, if you just do a shit ton of acid and then like take some weed, you're good.
Or
Yeah.
Zoloft.
Yeah, or Zoloft or Xanax. I
Or
like
Xanax.
my
I don't
okay.
I don't dream on Xanax, but
Archer made this book one time where he was talking about like fucking interviews or not interviews, interrogations. He's like, yeah, the fucking ISIS spy agency gives us a cyanide pill in case we're ever in an interrogation like situation. But he's like, I spit that out and replaced it with Xanax.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Of course, Archer. Yeah.
yeah.
What do
So just live like
what else
Archer, and you'll reach the astral plane.
yeah, or mix candy with Vicodin. He calls them Mike and Vikes.
Jesus
Or
Christ.
don't
That's
do what
really
I
good.
did one night, but let's see. I do not condone this. I was getting off shift from the Navy, and I was like, yeah, this is the start of a weekend. I kind of just want to sleep, and so I was like, well, I could take these sleeping pills, and then I was like, I could also take this bottle of Jack Daniels. Then I was, and
You could
then
take both.
Very dangerous.
not really knowing better, I think I took like 4 sleeping pills and started chugging Jack Daniels. Um,
I mean, you can survive that. It's fine.
I woke up outside my dorm room, not knowing how the fuck I got there or where I was.
What if you do you know what the sleeping pills were? Were like Ambien or something?
I honestly cannot remember.
Because I used to take Lunesta, which is like Ambien, and and I've taken Ambien before, and the stories of people like sleep eating and shit are like full on true. Like I would wake up and I'd be in the kitchen and I'd have
I find it bizarre though that Ambien, like I get that it's a real side effect, but it's such a specific side effect. Like why isn't it just sleepwalking or like
well
why is it specifically sleep
so
eating? Because I've heard that too.
okay, so pharmacologically those drugs are I mean the basically hallucinogens, right? That have a sedative effect. So it's not just sleep eating, it goes way beyond sleepwalking. It's like
Yeah, but everybody talks about the sleep eating, right? I never hear
I
about.
think because a lot of people get hungry at night. Like I get hungry. I get up and eat at
I
night
guess that's
anyways.
true.
And and some people if they take a lot of Ambien, like I've done this when I was a kid. I took a bunch of Ambien to trip out and it works. But like if you're like sleeping and then people eating cigarettes and stuff like buttered cigarettes, like it makes sense.
It's just it's something that you want.
Yeah.
You're consuming it in some
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
I think that the eating is just such a weird thing that it gets the most attention. But like, yeah, I sometimes I'd wake up and I'd be standing at my kitchen counter, like shoveling melted ice cream in my mouth.
Honestly, the weirdest thing for me about Amblin is when
Ambien?
they went from making sleeping pills to gremlins. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, like, yeah, when Amblin started doing like ET instead of sleeping pills, it was really weird.
Yeah, and then they moved to Jurassic Park, and I was like, how can a
Yeah,
sleeping pill company come up with such a great idea?
I know, so smart.
But they got Steven
Um.
Spielberg, so it makes sense.
So so this part I couldn't really. The next topic I couldn't really connect with. Because
Okay.
I've never had a dream within a dream. It's
Oh,
never
I
happened.
have.
But if dreams are essentially a message from our higher state of consciousness, then what the fuck are dreams within dreams? Dreaming within a dream is a very rare spiritual experience.
Oh, is it?
I thought you. So Max, you said you have.
I have.
Ken, have you dreamed within a dream?
Yes, I think.
I have. I've had like where I've okay, so like I'm dreaming, and like I have like a nightmare, and then I wake up, and I'm still in the dream. That's a dream within a
Yeah,
dream, right?
yeah. That's the Rick and Morty shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
Yeah, I've never
I've
had that.
okay.
I've had this dream every night where I wake up and I'm still within a dream, and then I go back to bed and I wake up and I'm still within a dream. It happens like literally every day.
Huh. Go figure.
Yeah,
Do you want to do?
Um,
Do you want to do a seminar on that? Charge $2,000 a ticket.
of course.
Of course.
Aliens
but
are taking your negative energy, Alex.
yeah, it's fucking throwing my soul into a volcano, right?
Mhm.
Um, this is a very deliberate attempt by the universe, or I guess aliens, to get your attention. It's considered a good idea to listen to this because I mean, how often do you dream within a dream? I've
I
never
guess
done it.
so.
But why do we have dreams within dreams, right? It can be because of anxiety, desires, anxieties, passions, any way that can affect you, and what we see in our dreams. Another reason could be that the spiritual world, the astral plane, has a message for us that maybe we're not picking up on. So they really just, fucking really putting the post-it note to the forehead.
Yeah, this is
Um,
literally the example of like the universe grabbing our head, forcing us to look at it and be like, "Listen up, motherfucker."
Hmm.
That is what a dream within a dream is.
Okay.
It's like I've been trying to tell you this for the past few dreams, but each time you just keep like changing it to Taco Bell, Scarlett Johansson. So I need you to fucking pay attention for 5 fucking seconds so I can get this message across. That
Interesting.
dream with
Okay.
And then, finally, it could be that we are trying to manipulate what we perceive, which this is bad, right? Because it disrupts the flow of energy from the soul, severing our connection to the astral plane and distorting what we see in our dreams. So this one's more of, um,
That's our brain's trying to fuck us.
yeah.
yeah, that was a very yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything more to say about dreaming and
Well,
within
I
dreams.
look. Okay. So I did a lot of drugs, a lot of different drugs, and I'll say that opioids give you some fucking bonkers dreams, and not only give you bonkers dreams, they make you have sleep paralysis. And I don't think that the opiates or the drugs did this to me. I've always had lucid dreams, but like uh, I started having more once I started doing drugs. It's been a while since I've had a lucid dream, but like I can't. I've talked about this. I can't wait till we start talking about lucid dreaming because like it's a weird thing.
So, you know, this part made me laugh when I read it the first time.
Just what
Sorry,
I'm saying, don't trust my dreams because some of them were drug induced, and the ones I have now are probably
yeah, so that would be a good
still
example.
drug
Yeah,
induced.
that would be a good example of manipulating what we perceive,
Yeah.
right? It's
Hmm.
some type of outside source manipulating
Yeah.
your perception of things. But so what's exactly is the spiritual meaning behind dreaming within dreams? This part I loved. There are a couple possibilities, and I will be going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Let's
because
do it.
we all know that's a couple.
Yep.
Um, there's
But I'm not just gonna make it 3.
so yeah, but when has couple ever meant
7.
7?
Hold
Anyway,
on, hold on. I got this. Snow White and the
anyway,
7 Dwarves.
I
Oh, okay.
So there's deceit, convincing ourselves that everything in our reality is okay when in fact it is not. So it's a form of denial. This type of mindset will blind us from the truth and slow down our journey to find out who we are meant to be. Too many spiritual messages at once. The messages have kind of meshed together, unfolding within each other. So think of maybe like a spider web or a collage that's just like,
Mm, yeah.
maybe one of those serial killers that writes their messages with like the different letters from
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
magazines. Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
about right.
Another one is someone trying to reach out to us. So a friend or family member may be trying to intercept our dreams with a message. You should pay close attention to the dream within the dream if this is the case.
Okay.
Spiritual alignment. So if you feel that you have lost your link with the spirit world or astral plane, the dream within the dream could be your higher consciousness finding a new frequency. Tuning the radio.
Ooh,
Over you out there. Ground
yeah.
control. Uh, let the dream play out. This could lead to a spiritual awakening or discovery.
Oh,
Something good is coming to you. It could be a predictor of future events, or more so, an assurance from the universe that everything will turn out okay.
oh.
Then we
I
got
want
signs.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Fuck the
We all
rest of them.
do, right? Yeah, give me those lotto numbers, baby.
Seriously.
Um, Another one is signs of a prophetic gift. Dreaming within a dream could signify that you have traces of a seer's gift.
Ooh.
So by gift here we mean ability. However, if this is the case, it would still need to be mastered, practiced, those type of things.
That's how
And
you end up on the
then
short bus.
we come back down to the old psychoanalysis. It could just be plain old anxiety, man. Just your spiritual self or your higher consciousness trying to tell you that there's something that you need to deal with, or you're overthinking something and that everything is okay and that you should trust that life will work out. And for most of us, it does.
Well, for 2/3 of this podcast, we have to believe that. So
Wait, what? Oh, we
Yeah,
have to
I got
believe that
that.
everything will work out. Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not flying the plane. John Denver is.
part of me sits there and goes, like, this sucks, and you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. One of the beginning episodes, I said life sucks. Life does not suck, guys. Life
No.
is pretty dope, actually. The ups of it are really awesome when you like discover Disneyland for the first time. The downs of it are really awesome because they help us feel and understand on a deeper level
Yeah.
the world around us.
And if we can't learn, we need to learn from that stuff, because I think a lot of people aren't tuned to learn from that stuff. But like that's how I've had to shape my life in the last 15 years, is that when bad stuff happens and I feel a certain way, like I have to let myself feel that and learn from it.
Failures are the best way that we can learn anything on this
Yeah.
planet.
Hey, do you guys see the Dungeons and Dragons movie, the new one with Chris Pine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Honor, Steve.
there's a perfect part in that when someone says like we're failures, and he says, "Yeah, I'm a huge failure. Everything I do is a failure, and then I reassess."
Yeah.
Like I actually really liked that.
So it's interesting. I just watched a YouTube video and I wish I could shout him out, but the point is,
Shout them out.
do you guys I don't remember the name of it.
Oh.
That's why I wish I could shout him out.
Okay.
But do you guys know what a Prince Rupert is in glassmaking?
It's Rupert.
It sounds like a sexual.
It's not. It does,
not.
but it's not. It's basically when you drip molten glass into
Yeah.
water and it forms that drip. But apparently that like the head of like the teardrop essentially is like almost indestructible.
Yeah.
The way it forms and however it forms, the teardrop part of it, like you can smack with a hammer, like it can take immense amount of pressure. But if you just clip like the tail end of it, the whole thing just explodes and shatters.
Yeah.
But the point of this story is I was watching this video and the guy wanted to do the science behind the Prince Rupert or whatever. And so he went to like a master glassmaker.
Yeah.
And the guy had a really good idea because he was like, "Oh, when I fail on a piece, I don't stop working on it, right? Because if I stop working on it, then I'm not gonna learn anything."
Yeah.
Right. So I continue basically once I make a mistake on that piece, I will keep making mistakes on
Yeah.
that piece. So I
See where it comes
finally,
out.
yeah, exactly. And like learn the process, because if I stop the process early, then I
Yeah.
won't know like what mistakes to avoid later on in that process.
This is actually why I really like I like anything that I have to like. I like working with my hands, which I think is weird because like I'm all computers and shit. But like I've built guitar.
That's a form of working with your
It
hands.
is, but it's more
Yeah.
like I like
But
I've
I get
built.
what you're saying. I get what
I've
you're saying.
built. I've done like woodworking. Like I've built guitars and stuff. And
There's
like when
definitely
you're
a Venn diagram of that. I know a
oh
lot of
yeah, there
computer
is.
nerds that like do shit.
Yeah.
You know,
It's honestly it's a little bit like meditation for me, right? Like if I'm sanding something out, like and you're sanding wood, you might sand a part too much, but then like you can always fix it. You can go back and kind of like smooth it out, and then like I've got a guitar here that like it's one of the best guitars I've ever made. That I actually like I was drilling a hole into where the pickup is going because the hole that I had originally drilled wasn't big enough to get the wires through, and I put a hole right through the front of it after it was finished, and I just put a sticker over it, and it's still one of the best guitars I ever made.
Nice.
so
Yeah.
I just want to finish this by saying to wrap it all up. Um, whatever you're going through in life, all of you out there, it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Like in the end, it will work out in one way
things
or
will work
form,
out.
but it will work out for the best. You'll
Yeah,
either learn from it or you'll carry it through. You'll get through it and it will be okay. Today's
yeah,
problems are not next year's. So I
yeah.
understand it's tough. I know I've been there.
I'm there right now. I don't have a
Yeah.
job. I'm trying to figure it
Yeah.
out, but like I this is where like my whole conditioning comes in is like I know that I still have to make choices in this world. I still have to make the right choices, but if I do it with the intent of making good choices, it will work out.
Doing the
And
next
now
right
a
thing.
lot
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now a lot of the things that we just talked about can be applied to interpreting your dreams within a dream,
Woo.
right? So you got to be conscious of your state of mind before sleeping, right? So, thinking about that project or that problem beforehand, just
Hmm.
kind of seeing what mood you're in. So if you're
Yeah.
anxious before you go to bed, it could be a dream of reassurance. If you were at peace, it's something else, like maybe a warning or something along those lines. um, what happened in the dream specifically, so the problem itself. The events and symbols in the dream are personalized messages, so just deciphering what it means according to your own experiences is key here, which we've already talked about.
Yeah.
And then what happened in the dream prior to the deeper dream. So you're talking about a dream within a dream, so even at fucking inception level, right? But
Yeah.
even like kind of the context dream of what was happening before you went into a deeper dream is also important. So you gotta
That makes
you gotta
sense.
you, you gotta take those two things together, right? You can't just take the dream within the dream as being like, the one and all true
Yeah, you
fucking
got to look at the
message.
whole thing.
You gotta
You got to look
parse
at it
it out.
holistically.
Yeah, holistically.
I have a question, Alex, and
Y-
the only reason I'm asking you this is because I think I'm the only person here who's like done a lot of programming. Uh, you said you hate logic, but have you ever dreamed in logic?
Okay, so I got to be careful. No, I haven't dreamed in
Okay.
logic, and I don't hate logic,
No, I know you don't.
right? I don't hate logic. What I don't like is, and this is going to get esoteric because it's like academia. What
Yeah.
I don't appreciate or I get weary of is Western philosophers using strict Western logistics
Okay,
to come to a human emotional answer.
I agree with you on that.
Okay.
100%.
That's what I meant by saying
Okay.
because I'm very much in like the European
Yeah.
like school of philosophy and like they still use logic, but it's usually written in such a way that you don't necessarily need to know
Higher logic.
higher
Yeah.
logic or the formulas behind
So
it,
so
right? So
when I'm talking about it, I'm usually talking about it, like I said, from a logician's point of view. Like my father has a shit ton of degrees, and one of them is in philosophy.
yeah.
And people, when they hear that, they assume that like he's read all of it. He has read all of it, Nietzsche and all that shit. But the reason he did that is because of the higher logic, because he's a
Yeah.
programmer.
I mean, yeah, it's
So I have had like if I'm working, if I don't write a lot of software anymore, but when I did, like and I was maybe not stuck on a problem, but if I had been like just coding my fucking brains out all day, I'd go to sleep and I'd dream in uh like conditions and then loops.
Which makes sense because if you're learning a foreign language, I've
Yeah.
heard of people dreaming in the foreign,
It's like-
right? It's like it is possible to dream in a foreign language, so that
It's a-
makes sense because
it's all-
it's a form of language.
It's incredibly anxiety inducing though.
Oh,
if
is
you, like,
it?
yeah, oh yeah. Because if I'm coding all day and my
Oh,
head
I
is in that
see.
space of
Yeah, I
logic
see what
of
you're
like
saying. Yeah.
I'm thinking like, okay, if this number equals this, I'm gonna do something. And then if it doesn't, I'm doing something else.
So what
Yeah.
you're
And then I dream in that way and I wake up and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
so what you're saying is
It's kind of like
Max
dreaming about work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Max is Spock and Alex is the other guy.
Kirk?
Kirk. Yeah, that's it.
No, I think he's more like Bones, but yeah.
I don't know if I ever would want to be compared to William Shatner and Kirk
James T.
because
Kirk.
that motherfucker is so problematic in the Me
And-
Too movement. It
Oh,
is
I know.
not even funny.
That's why I said you're more like Bones.
Yeah, which I appreciate,
I
right?
appreciate that. I appreciate the comparison to Spock. I will
Oh
say
yeah, that's flattering as fuck.
it is. I will say that the new Spock that is portrayed is so good because I feel like they talked about logic and stuff in Star Trek, but they didn't. They only touched on it from like a really like kind of like everyman point of view of logic.
So I recently have been rewatching Enterprise, like I told you I was going to. And the way that they did to Paul on that show
Yes,
is so bad
she's
because
terrible.
and I
She's not
feel
very
bad
logical, honestly.
and I feel bad for the actress, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not her fault, it's the writing. But they made her so emotional
Yeah,
through
right.
the writing and then at one point had to be like, oh, it's because she's addicted to some material
Yeah.
and it's like fucking with her
Oh
synapses.
my god.
And it was like, yeah, but that doesn't explain the first 2 seasons, bro.
No,
Like,
it doesn't.
So
Oh my God.
guys, if
Yeah,
you ever want
we're
to
going to
know,
Star Trek.
if you ever want to know, and I'm talking to the audience here, how to turn a 2-hour podcast into a 4-hour podcast, ask these guys about like using the Force or some shit.
man, we've only been going for like an hour and a half
Yeah.
so far.
Anyway, I'm just gonna say that
It's not gonna be 4 hours.
No.
today's Spock, the new Spock, is far more logical and emotional at the same time. So
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so getting visitations in dreams, which Max brought this up because he thought it would be cool to give a high five to Ken in their dreams together.
Wait, did we
Yeah.
talk about the how to interpret the dream?
Yeah.
Okay.
we just did.
The state of mind and what happened in the
Yeah,
dream?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah, yeah.
really just did.
Yeah, we
Hol-
literally
hol-
just did it.
Holistic analysis.
Holistic. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So visitation and dreams are dreams in which your loved ones, friends, family, pets, because we're not monsters, so obviously your pets are a part of this. Visit us from beyond the grave. Or I think because we don't get into this in the outline, I do think there is a case that 2 consciousnesses that are still alive
Yeah,
can do this, right? I don't think I don't think it bars this at all.
because it's like a whole other reality, right? So
Yeah,
like, there's no
yeah.
reason we can't meet up in the other reality.
Yeah, exactly.
We are whole. That is it. Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing. We're very much ourselves. Half of ourselves are here, half of ourselves are up there, and we're kind of like monitoring us as we make our way through life. And we're all part of the greater whole, which means, in a sense, we're all connected. So I like the part of you that's me, Alex. You're cool.
Oh, that's a sweet
Aw.
sentiment.
Yeah.
Okay, so just
I
like
agree.
symbols and our higher consciousness trying to give us a message, same thing goes for another consciousness that we meet in the astral plane. Typically, they're there to issue a warning, a news to you, or important information. And there's a few things that you can do to tell if the visitation dream was, a real visitation dream or just a
Just
regular
dream.
dream, I guess, just a dream. So it feels real. So it's a vivid dream and it's realistic, which I'm assuming by realistic you mean like maybe the person's like personality. Um,
Matches up.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
I guess can what's realistic meant? Because you said that the
very.
astral plane doesn't have the laws of physics, right? Or
All
space
right.
or time. So,
Realistic is the laws of physics as we understand them. When we transport ourselves to the other
oh, it
plane,
is. Okay.
whether temporarily or rather permanently, which ends up just being temporarily anyways, uh, we have to transition, right? It's like throwing somebody into fucking cold water. You can't just
Ooh.
toss them in and not expect system shock. You know,
Yeah,
Ooh.
okay.
we have
Okay.
to
All right.
gradually understand that we can control the reality around us, but it
Okay.
takes time.
All right, that makes sense.
Okay.
The dream is going to have a sense of comfort. So when the loved one visits you, you'll wake up feeling relaxed, reassured, at peace. If you wake up feeling otherwise, it's very likely that you were visited. If you wake up feeling otherwise, it's very likely that you were visited by not such a good spirit. Maybe Ken himself,
Yeah.
or
So,
um, my dog Sammy, who was a real piece of work when I was growing up. I
Or
mean, she
Kirby's dreaming about his brother.
fuck that.
Yo, I just want to say, everyone out there, if you're watching now, we are planning a D&D campaign with the Kirby family and Max,
It's gonna be a dumpster fire.
and it is gonna be, yes, it is gonna be a dumpster fire. And if you are easily offended, please do not listen or watch to it.
And
But
I
otherwise,
promise
you
there will
will
be.
have much enjoyment.
I promise there will be zero D&D erotica. No, wait. Actually, I'm going to amend that.
Yeah, are you
What
serious?
if
I
we like
promise that
literally what?
I
Max is
promise that
taking back the internet.
I promise that if there is D&D erotica, it will be well written.
All right, well, you can write the well-written erotica because I'm DMing and I am very improvisational.
Well,
I don't write a lot beforehand, but it's all like on the cuff. So
I,
we'll
I,
see how that goes.
I write fiction and I have been thinking about maybe getting into some sort of fantasy erotica. So
Max slides his
please
rock
tune in.
dick into the cave troll's
Yeah.
cave.
Yep.
All right, another thing that the dream
That's
is
some
going to
good writing
possess
there.
Thanks.
is clarity. So unlike what we talked about symbolic dreams, um this is not going to be distilled. It's going to be direct communication, clear communication, that you'll understand it. It won't be distilled. Kind of with the sense of comfort is going to become, you're going to get a feeling of positivity. So you're going to get the sense that the spirit or the other consciousness that visits you is healthy, positive, calm. Their actions or words will not cause any type of distress. Again, coming with the sense of comfort. The deceased may appear younger, is what I'm going to go with this. The consciousness or spirit will appear at the age that they felt best at in life, which is not necessarily when you are younger.
That's
Now,
true. I agree.
okay, I thought you were going to disagree with the statement as a whole, but actually,
No, no, no.
that's
Oh
a good way
no,
to
no,
look at it.
not at all. Just the
Just
just
whenever
the
they felt most
title, just
comfortable.
the yeah, just
Honestly,
whenever they felt more comfortable. Yeah.
when I become a spirit, I'm gonna have the body of 20-year-old me straight out of the Navy, with the mind of 30-year-old me who thinks he knows everything but knows he can still die.
Uh, I mean, honestly, like I've never been more comfortable with myself than I am like post 40 now. So
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah, and I get more comfortable as age goes on. To
I
be
yeah,
hate
honest
to
with
say
you.
this, but
ditto.
guys, great or age a little different than women. Like women become
Wait,
more anxious as they get older.
I'm going to disagree.
This is a literal scientific study. I could pull
No,
it
no,
up
no,
for you.
no, no. I think you're right. I think for the most part, yes, women get more anxious, but I'm speaking to someone right now who's older than me, and
Yeah,
Now,
she's a little, she's not anxious. She's like way less
let
anxious.
me let me
I don't think that's a natural thing. So I don't
Yeah,
phrase
I think
that.
that's
I don't think
outside
it's
stuff.
I don't think it's a natural thing
It's
that
not
that happens.
it's
I
not
think
black or
that's
white,
definitely
dude.
part of I
Yeah.
think that's definitely
Okay,
part of our
hold
society
on.
that
Let me finish the
gives
damn
them
sentiment before you
sorry.
guys jump on me.
Let's
All right.
let's hear it.
Like,
Let's hear it.
because honestly, what I just said was women grace horribly, and I don't even get a chance to defend myself. Here
Yeah,
is
let's hear
what
it.
I
You're the
think.
one that said it, so don't say
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Well,
I get a chance.
he's got. There's a butt here, so let's hear it.
There is a but. It's not black and white. Not everybody ages the same.
True.
One, it is that. Plus, it is the societal pressures that we face nowadays that are inherently placed on women from when they are young, very young, to when they are very old. It's the side effects of that.
So
We.
you
Good
It is
job,
far
Kirby.
easier for a guy to throw on gym shorts and a shirt and
yeah.
feel comfortable just walking around the house, whereas women are judged by society standards
So
of beauty.
I agree.
I almost threw up in my mouth. I
Good.
I I have a niece who's 9.
Mhm.
No, 7 or 8. I don't remember. She's like 7, 8. Um, and my sister came over today. She was picking up something from the house, and I opened the door to talk to my niece, like I always do. I opened up the back door and I was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And she had like literally like she had a lot of makeup on for being
Mm.
like 6 or 7, right? Um, and I said, "Oh, you're wearing a lot of makeup." My sister made a comment. I said, "You're wearing a lot of makeup today." And my sister said, "Oh, you mean today?" And my niece, without hesitation, said, "Well, because I want to look like I'm plastic."
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
like that.
my heart dropped.
Yeah.
Like it dropped because I was like, that is
Well,
not.
you could have just seen the new Barbie movie.
Well, it is true, right? No, and I understand that there may be like,
No, but that
but
statement on
my
its own is really sad.
right, like it still
Yeah.
made my heart drop because even if you saw the Barbie movie, you shouldn't want to look like plastic. Like I
No.
understand the context, I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah. No,
Especially
but
with the way a child's mind works,
yeah,
but
still it's sad. I've I'm blessed in that my I have a daughter that age, and then I have another daughter who's younger. That like I actually like I'm so proud of how my oldest has aged. She
nice,
ha- she has no she doesn't have an ego in terms of like how she looks.
nice.
And I mean maybe it's because she's a good looking kid. I mean, but I'm biased. All my kids are good looking. um, but like Honora is so she wants the way she wants to look is the way she wants to look inside. And
Yeah.
I
Okay.
and
And the
I think I really want to say that I think that's because of me, because she sort of saw me grow up and grow into myself a little bit, like with the tattoos, and I changed my look and stuff.
well, I
But
think honestly, with like the advent of like the gender revolution, almost, um, what we're seeing is a trend in society that may start to fade away,
yeah,
which in my case is very fine. Like, here's how I think about
well,
it, right?
she actually she identifies as I mean, she's too young for this. I mean, she keeps telling me and my ex-wife like to like support like non-binary stuff, but she doesn't identify as non-binary, but she identifies as like pansexual or something.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, you're 9, you go with what you want, but like,
Yeah, you're too young to
yeah,
actually understand what that means.
it's still a cool idea, right? Because it instead of wanting to please everybody else, it's more like I'm going to go with how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, I think like here's the thing, right? People that want to make America great again,
And that's
or go back to some time period where America made sense. I'll tell you
like the
this right
50s.
now: America never made sense, as
No,
a,
it never
not in
did.
its entire history, and nor were we ever really great. The great thing about America isn't what lies in our past. The great thing about America is stepping boldly into the future when other countries won't. We
Yeah, exactly.
we can essentially progress far further than most countries.
You know, You
Or at
know what
least
it is?
sentiments and
half of us
genders
can.
and whatnot.
Boldly
Yeah.
exploring the unknown.
Yeah. And that's what makes America great. It's not going back to what we were, but becoming what we should be.
Yeah.
All
Back when
right.
men were men.
Got their good old steaks and potatoes.
Men were never men. Come on.
So we went on a tangent, a
Yeah.
very good tangent, but
I liked it.
what else that you know that a visitation dream is real, right? Is the experience can be physical, which also builds off of this. It feels real, it's vivid, realistic, but you
Mhm.
can touch the other person, and the contact will be intense, will intensify the experience. It literally feels real, right? Which is
Yeah.
what we said before. It will flow naturally. So again, it's not cryptic, disjointed, it's not distilled. You can understand it, it's clear. Dreams sometimes can have, I guess disjointed is a really good word, right? A disjointed series of events, and these will be very understandable, probably sequential events, right?
Yeah.
So you won't be jumping back and around time and all that crazy stuff like Hugh Jackman in that movie. And what was it, The Fountain of Life or whatever that movie
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
He's the
Alright.
only actor to portray the same Marvel character. And I think probably DC character. Like every other actor, every other like role has flipped, right? We got a new God, I'm trying to think of like a good example here.
There's never been another Wolverine.
No.
No, not once.
Yeah. Only cartoons and stuff, but there hasn't been a live action Wolverine until there was Hugh Jackman.
I
Hulk
guess
got
that's
a
true.
new Hulk. We have
Well,
3 different
there was.
Spider-Mans. I mean,
Yeah.
How
Right.
is
So
he the
so
how is he the only one though?
to portray it that long. Like
yeah.
Oh,
he
that
was
long, the
Wolverine
length of
for
Yeah.
like
time. Yeah,
20
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
years when
yeah,
his
Yeah.
yeah,
role
yeah, yeah.
should have shifted.
Yep.
But Hugh Jackman will for always and evermore be Wolverine. Anybody else that tries to replace him are fucking stupid,
Uh, he
and
he was even Old Man Logan, which I love.
or you should just do
Movie's so
X3.
good. I rewatched that movie a few months ago. That movie's so good.
Man, the comic book
Um,
is bonkers too.
yeah, I'll have to buy the comic book. But again, the visitation dream will be easy to remember too. You won't have any troubles like waking up trying to recall anything, or anything like that. And it's easy to interpret visitation dreams as they typically fall into one of two categories. So you got the typical, hanging out. So, which I loved. I loved how
Yeah,
you phrased that, right?
that's
Yeah.
good.
It's just you and the other person or other consciousness or spirit, um, just acting like nothing happened, man. Just
Listen,
two bros on a couch with your dicks out.
I had this
Yeah,
amazing
touching
ass
tips.
dog when I was in high school. His name was Indiana. And Indiana was badass. Like everywhere I went, Indy went. Everything I did, Indy did. Like he saved me from a ghost, all that shit.
Mm,
So fast forward to like the Navy years, and I get a call underway that Indiana had passed away.
mm,
I actually stopped doing my job that night. I told the dude I was like, I'm not gonna be able to work. I'm gonna go
yeah.
back to my rack. And
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, I completely understand. Well, fast forward to a couple years, every so often I'll have a dream and Indiana will pop up. Now, I
Mm,
truly believe that's Indy visiting me and
Nice.
checking in on me and
mm,
being like, hey, what's up, dude? You know?
I like that.
The other category is, which I guess wouldn't, well, I guess it could fall with Indiana on this one, right?
Yeah.
So the other category is you label it as advice. I think maybe it's a little bit more broader than that, but it's essentially the person coming to you because they know that you need guidance, protection, and or comfort in your real life.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of people say that
which is what you were explaining, right? So
essentially, like, when we leave the astral plane for the earthen one, um, we're given a set of guardians. Like, we have one guardian angel, or swish swish angel, whatever you have it, like, angelic being who watches over us and just in general guides us. It stops us from doing dumb shit like running out into the middle highways and stuff like that.
Yeah, driving in oncoming traffic.
And then you got a rotating cast of angels that occasionally pop up and like will help your permanent guardian angel. I'm just using angel here as a placeholder, guys. You know.
That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
we get it.
And I can
Being
definitely see family members being in that rotating cast, and then be like, "Hey,
makes
let
sense.
me pop down and say hi."
Yeah.
Yeah, like Robin Williams' Black Sun.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What?
There's
Oh my god!
Wait, what? What? Wait. a
Did
minute.
you just reference What Dreams May Come?
yes.
I fucking love that movie,
um,
dude. Every
there's a
time.
movie.
I haven't seen it.
There's a movie with for anyone who hasn't seen this fucking 30-year-old movie, spoiler alert. So spoiler alert, Max.
You're gonna
but
ruin it for
Spoil it
Max?
for me.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
spoil
no.
it for me.
Robin
Look, this
Robin
movie is
Williams
fucking amazing.
Robin Williams dies, and he's being taken through like heaven itself, and he's like
Yeah.
they're basically, it's kind of like a Scrooge story, right? So he's like being taken through heaven and seeing like all the good he's done in the world, because he basically has a decision to make, right? Is he going to go to hell or is he going to go to heaven? But it's like his decision to make.
hmm
And so throughout the movie, there's this narrator. I don't know if he's a narrator, but there's
He's
this
his
protagonist.
guide. It's his guide.
Yeah,
that
his
appears.
guide through heaven and his life and reflection, and it's some black dude. And then you get to the end of the movie, and it turns out that it's Robin. It's like the character's son who had died like years earlier in like a car accident or some shit.
Guiding
That's
his
like help.
father through heaven.
Yeah, but yeah,
Interesting.
Dude, it's
But
listen.
Was it Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a fucking amazing movie.
I haven't seen it, but I
Audience.
remember it.
If you ever want to test whether or not a man can cry, watch that fucking film. Because I guarantee you, one point in it, you're probably going to tear up.
That's okay. I cry all the time, but I'm not a real man.
I cry all the time.
Yeah.
I cry all the time. That film always fucking gets me. I think
I-
it's
I-
like, there's 2 or 3 of them out there that do.
I constantly, because I drive a lot. I constantly cry listening to like Radio Lab or This American Life, or
Yeah, absolutely.
like a podcast in the car and I'm alone.
Yeah.
Just waterworks, buddy.
I cried watching an episode of Star Trek
Oh,
today.
you know what gets me every single time as well? Lord of the Rings.
Which part?
Pick one. The last ride of the Rohirrim.
Oh yeah, that part's fucking intense.
Jesus Christ, when they show up, it's hard not to fucking tear up.
Yeah.
Because you know they're going to their death, and they've accepted it, and now they're fucking pissed.
Yeah. I also the movie didn't do it well, but like I really like Samwise Gamgee is like the unsung hero of that entire series.
Dude,
Like-
that
I think the movies portrayed that fairly well.
I think parts did. I think parts didn't. Like when in the movie, when at the end when Sam picks up Frodo, that's another part that's just like, damn.
Yeah, no, dude. The fucking picking up the dude, and then the fact that, God, I know how they do it too, and I realized the last time, and it pissed me off, because basically when they're sitting there on the rock, and they start talking about how they're happy to be with each other at the end of all things,
Yeah.
and they start remembering the Shire, and then the Shire music picks up, and that's how I realized they get you to tear or jerk tears.
That's definitely how they get you to do it.
And then the fucking what's that?
Last
The
Ride of
last
the
ride of the
Rohirrim.
Rohirrim. With
I forgot about that part. That's such a good.
The theme of Rohan roaring in the background.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, they're here. We're fucked.
Man, such an epic. They did so good on the music too. Damn.
Hey, here's a fun movie fact for all you out there. Everybody that wanted to be in the last ride of the Rohirrim had to recite to Peter Jackson verbatim what occurred in that book. Like they had to read like the entire scene to Peter Jackson without looking at the book, and they were put in the scene. And that's how you get people that look like they're having the fucking time of their life writing to their deaths.
So that's why you get actors like Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Man, he's good. He was Dredd too.
It's underrated, man.
Yeah.
He was also Bones.
Yeah,
Oh,
Connor
he
Herman
was.
kicks ass.
God, I hope they bring him back as Bones, but they won't. But, you know.
I don't think they're ever making more of those movies. Which,
No, I meant in Strange New Worlds.
oh, can you imagine if they got? Yeah, I don't know if they could
He's a
afford
little
it.
too old, but you know.
But all right, last topic of the episode because we've
Bad
kind of
dreams.
bad dreams, man, bad dreams. So if you're experiencing the same bad dream over and over again, which I've had this happen before,
Yeah.
it could be related to unprocessed trauma or a symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder. I was in a very bad car accident when I was younger, and for probably about a year and a half afterwards, I would just have the same dream of the car, like either going over a cliff or
Yeah.
going over a ledge or going off the road, like constantly, like every night, just fucking wake up in terror. Like,
I've had that too. I've had, and I was listening to a guy who was in the army and actually won a Medal of Honor. He was saying that he wants to stop referring to it as a disorder because everyone has post traumatic stress.
Honestly,
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because it's not a disorder. Everyone who goes through something like that is going to have some sort of reaction.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I have these
Yeah,
moments
so it's
where
because a disorder. I'm sorry, Ken, but so a disorder describes something that's outside of the norm, and he's saying
It's not
perf-
outside of the norm.
it's perfectly healthy to react in such a way when you have such a traumatic
Yeah.
experience. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. Watch Medal of Honor on
excuse me,
Netflix.
I'm not
Okay.
done talking.
Sorry, I think he
Okay,
didn't hear you.
that's all I got.
Oh. Okay. Anyways, I've had those dreams too, and those dreams are part of working through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time, but
Of
yes.
course not, but yeah.
In retrospect, now I realize that. But
Yeah.
so the traumatic event doesn't necessarily need to come from our current life, can be from a past life. As Ken has aptly explained many of times, right? This is one of those things because the astral plane is where we go to when we die, when we dream. It's where we go to come back here if we so choose, right? Because it's
So
that
basically,
continuous.
when you get up to the fourth dimension, you can manipulate the time around you and travel to pretty much anything. I'm willing to bet we are able to go up there and be like, hey, I kind of want to be this in the next life. And they're going to be like, all right, here's your chances. Any tribulations you want to face, and you could be like, I haven't faced this before. I'd like to experience that. And then you get thrown down here, um, and you start living that life. But
Is that why I have like extremely acute ADHD?
yeah. And here's the thing: this can happen everywhere at any time. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Basically,
Yeah.
that movie captured it perfectly, in that we are part of a whole, and everything
Yeah,
that we
I
do
know.
is living each other's lives and becoming better and growing better.
Hey,
Yep.
a movie that actually deserved the awards that it got. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
The problem can also be intergenerational, which I found
Mm.
this to be I think this is very much true. I'm not going to say that I don't believe in rebirth. I'm probably agnostic about it. But this one, for some reason, I do lean towards this one a little bit more, even if it's not necessarily through the astral
Past
plane
lives.
itself. Or yeah, but basically intergenerational. I mean, it's exactly what it means, right? It may not be our own experience, but if it can be left over from our ancestors, or
Well,
not descendants. What's the opposite of descendant?
ancestors.
Ancestors,
Yeah.
right? So our ancestors, and can be quote unquote downloaded into our DNA/nervous system
We
based off the past lives of the people that we're close to or family
we talk
members.
about that sort of like in Judaism, that like there is a
Oh,
shared
really?
well, yeah, there's a shared suffering of
Oh, yeah. Okay.
of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not just the Holocaust, the Shoah, like, but like 10,000 years of like a lot of bullshit. And there is kind of like I don't know if I'm going to even draw the line to dreaming, but like there is a shared sort of struggle, and I think it's probably true with like a lot of like black people and the sort of shared struggle of slavery, right?
Yes,
like in America.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Like
Yeah.
uh, any sort of like group of people that have faced adversities, like I think that there is this sort of like something in the DNA that is passed down that kind of like causes you to just be a certain way.
Now, here's food for thought. So, everybody says that we're gonna get way out there. Everyone says the reptilians are the bad guys, right?
Oh,
Everyone's
this is
like,
good. Okay.
Everyone's
Okay,
like,
reptilians, huh?
No.
reptilians are the bad guys, and you shudder, and that's what you're told. Yeah, here, think about this for a second, right? If the Nordics are the good guys and the reptilians are the bad guys, why do we look at dragons and go, "Fuck yeah, those things are awesome! I want to ride one"? And why do we think of Sumerian gods and immediately get afraid?
I don't know.
I have no answer for you.
I don't
But
know.
dragons are fucking cool as shit.
Dragons are bitching.
Unless they're eating Matthew McConaughey midair.
Because that's would be inbred into our DNA and something that's passed out along the family lines.
I thought you were going to say something along the lines of how the reptilians are Jews. Because I've heard.
No,
I don't mean
what I'm
I
saying.
don't mean to laugh at that, Max. That was
No, it's all right. It's
Even if
funny.
the reptilians
it was,
are
I
Jews,
did not
they're the
think
good
I
guys.
did not think that's where you were going at
Well,
all.
I didn't think that's where he was
whatsoever.
going, but that's where my mind went because I have like recently researched a little bit of David Icke, and like he really went from like, oh, the reptilians are just reptilians to like, okay, fuck it, fine, they're Jews.
Well, technically, I'm taking David Icke's theory and flipping it on its head.
Yeah, you are. I like it. I like it. The Jews are dragons.
Jews are dragons, and dragons fucking rock. That's why they're on 1980s metal albums.
But
and my van.
Hi, Dr. Krieger.
Krieger-san!
Your fucking waifu. Your fucking waifu in the van.
I actually on my van I've got the whole like heavy metal, the movie Heavy Metal. I've got that whole thing. Yeah. Big tits.
So
riding a fucking dragon.
I know we talked about some heavy and serious things, and this is not to diminish any of those intergenerational struggles or what you called it, like the shared suffering, right?
Yeah.
But it is also in tandem with those important to know to live in the now.
Yes.
To not get caught up with past trauma, which doesn't even go with just intergenerational stuff, because we were talking about this earlier too, right? Being able to learn from failures and so on.
Yep.
Then to basically repeat the past just over and over and over, like white people love to do so much.
Yeah, it's because of a lack of struggle.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Fucking wasps, man.
But so how we have handled previous problems is inconsequential compared to how we can currently handle problems, which I really, really love that sentiment, right?
That's a good one, man.
If you're constantly thinking about, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, you're never actually paying attention to what's in front of you.
Absolutely.
Bad dreams can also be a spiritual wake-up call. It's essentially a way for your subconscious to get out your attention. Your spirit may not be aligned with what is occurring in your physical life, the material plane. It could also indicate that we have lost touch with our spirit or our higher consciousness, which I don't know. Mine's not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't really dream all that much, so I don't really know what to say about that one.
Well, I guess you're just fucked then.
I don't have.
I think you need more crystals in your bedroom.
I don't have bad dreams, and I don't have really good dreams. I don't really
just
remember
put a
my
crucifix
dreams
on your wall that says "Praise Jesus."
Am I a homunculus? Maybe I'm just a fucking homunculus.
Oh my god! You are
Maybe,
homunculus.
maybe my spirit never came back from the astral plane, but my body
Oh
was
my
just
God.
like, shit, gotta
Is
put something in here.
that would explain why you suck at fucking For
We
the
should
King.
do a whole episode on
Other,
homunculi.
other things that explain why I suck at For the King the other night.
Yeah.
And none of them have to do with me being an homunculus, for sure.
Well, I'll say that there was a period of my life that I didn't dream at all because I have sleep apnea, and then like I got my CPAP and like
I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the
That-
process of trying to figure that
dude,
out.
that first night I had a dream and I was like, holy shit, I forgot dreaming.
Yeah, so my body's just so focused on trying to stay alive and not suffocate itself that it's like you ain't gonna dream. We got one mission, and that's to keep you
Yeah.
alive for the next
Exactly.
10 hours.
Yeah.
Technically,
I
you
had-
only have 2 minutes to live, and we reset that clock like every few seconds.
Yep. That's pretty much yeah.
Um. I think
Uh,
pretty much we can jump right into interpreting bad dreams, right? I
yeah,
mean,
let's
we
do
pretty
it.
much
go.
covered the rest of it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So deciphering the dream. So a lot of this is going to be similar to everything that we've talked about, but
Yeah.
deciphering the dream is a powerful tool for ridding yourself of it, right? So the
Mhm.
post-traumatic thing is, like we
Mhm.
said, is a healthy thing to have that repeat dream. You're kind of unconsciously, or I guess consciously, unpacking that trauma.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
good to even wake up and kind of reflect on that unpacking
Yeah.
of that drama, processing of it.
To try not to be too scared of it, even though it's scary.
Yeah. Again, you could also write down in a journal, a dream journal,
Mhm.
I think would
Mhm.
help a lot. So look for the symbols in the dream and ask yourself these questions. How do you feel when you think about this object, image, or symbol? What is your relationship to it? Is it positive, negative, familiar, unfamiliar? And then in the context of the dream, what does this object or character want or not want us to do?
Mm.
Which again is all I think that's all very useful. I mean,
Yeah.
none of us are fucking trained psychologists, so definitely, if you need to
Yeah.
talk to someone, please talk to a professional.
Yeah,
Or
I
some
get I
or
Matt,
some dude you find in the woods, but
yeah.
just
Or,
make sure he's
fucking
a
Reddit,
legit
I guess,
shaman.
because
Yeah,
that's what
Reddit's
everybody
great
turns to
therapy.
anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you having a great time on Reddit there, Ken?
I still am. I am at war with the Diablo user base, but I've technically we're at a standstill. I only poke at them every once in a while.
It's a stalemate at this moment between Kirby being rational and everyone else on Reddit being a Reddit user.
Well, I told one guy that Rudy called and he wants his ID back or IQ back, but that's about as sophisticated as I get.
Rudy Hobbit.
But we kind of already talked about definitely the suggestions on where we can start, right? Energy healer, shaman, therapist. You can create a ritual for yourself, which we talked about in the what episode was it? Your little imaginary buddy one. What were those called?
Oh, wait, what?
Do you, the imaginary buddies?
The angels?
No, the fucking.
Was this the one that I was not around for?
Tamagotchi?
You might have not. Was it not Atomic? Was it a Tamagotchi? I don't know. The one where you can conjure up like an imaginary friend.
Oh,
Wait, hold
Tulpas,
on.
yeah.
Did you pay to
Tova.
conjure up an imaginary friend?
Would you pay? Would I
No,
pay?
Did you pay? That's it sounds like you got some kind of pro. Tulpa. Okay, never mind.
It's
Yeah,
Tulpas.
Topa.
Yeah.
So create a ritual to release the energy. So sit by a fire, maybe an object. I would imagine that water is a powerful one. Fire is a powerful one.
Create a sigil.
A sigil, web swing
Fucking
catcher.
play some smoke on the water.
Yeah.
Go into a sauna, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You can ask yourself about the feelings that occur within the nightmare. How does it pertain to your current situation? And then we already went over this, right? Dig into your family, culture, society's past. Is there any unprocessed trauma in the family line or the society or the culture? How do you deal with those issues?
Did your great grandfather own slaves?
could you manage in a new and better way than owning slaves than your grandfather?
God.
All right.
The answer to that
Wow.
is
Eloquently put, Alex.
Eloquently put.
Every single episode, you just dig yourself deeper into that fucking political career, don't you?
Um,
Oh shit!
uh,
I'm
I-
actually signing up for something in town. They have they're doing a 12-week session of how to learn how your town government works, and I'm signing up
Oh.
for it on Monday.
What the hell
So
is wrong with you?
So it's every Thursday.
Jesus
It's for
Christ.
2 hours. We go to like the public works facility. We
Oh,
talk to like
God.
the finance manager. We talk to like the human services manager. I'm very excited.
Oh my God. Yeah, so I just want to. My cousin is an idealist and doesn't believe that violence is a valid way of civil disobedience, whereas I disagree with that. So he got involved in California
I think
Democratic
history
politics.
has very much proven that violence is a very real, substantially decent way of making change in the world.
I mean, honestly, it can go bad or it can go good, but I think violence used in a certain way and then propaganda as well is a way to get things done.
I
But
think
tell
history
that
very
to
much.
Gandhi, who nukes you in Civilization.
he was a fruitarian. Anyways, my cousin got involved in Democratic politics in California, and after 2 years of that, I think he will never talk politics again.
Yeah, I
It
can
was
imagine.
horrible.
Pray away the politics camp.
He even ran for delegate, like for the electoral college, and man, I just remember I'm like, dude, you have a full-time job and you doing this, and this sounds worse than your full-time job with those horrible people you work with. So good luck, Alex. Good luck.
No, this is just a class thing. This has nothing to do with actually running for anything.
Sure.
I get a little certificate and I get a limited sign of my town that I can
Oh, no,
hang up on my wall.
You definitely have a year and a half of not running for office that where you can just rack up material that'll help you win that.
Oh yeah. We're all after this podcast. None of us are ever going to run for public office.
Yo,
Alex,
you
you have my vote.
motherfuckers, you guys, motherfucker, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
white people.
Listen,
Fuck white people.
I'll vote for you.
I'll vote for you too, even though neither of us live in the same state you live in.
I was about to say neither of you could vote for me unless I fucking ran for president.
I'll just take a Georgia ballot and try to rig the elections.
All right, I vote. We wrap this one up so
Yeah.
I can go to bed.
I'm gonna play some. Something. Yeah, let's go to bed.
All right. Hey guys, it's been a fun episode. Remember, my name is Kenny Crook Irish Kirby. That is my co-host Maxwell Murder, and our new special ed narrator, Alex. Special ed
right.
guest narrator.
I guess I just accept my lot in life
Look,
because there's no reason to fight for anything higher.
you get you get a bonus this year of 1.5% of your salary.
0 times 0 is 0.
Kirby,
So you're gonna get
have
that.
have you started like any type of like LLC or actual business entity for this?
Not yet.
Okay, well,
I have
when
one
you
that we can
do,
use.
when you do, let me know so I can start writing grants for disability grant money
Oh my
from the
God.
government for my special ed title.
Yes. Oh my God. Good idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American dream.
Yes.
Fraud, dream.
Yeah. I honestly I was thinking about, because I'm getting unemployment and it's literally peanuts. And I was thinking about how I could defraud the government to get more. But I'm not going to do it.
Oh, Well, guys, a big shout out to John Zara. That is JohnZarra. He has a YouTube channel, and he allows us to use our one of his songs as our closing song. And a shout out to my mods today. That was Artrix, ATRYX and underscore, as well as Choreograph. That is KORICRAFT. These guys are awesome. They're both on Twitch. Go give them a subscribe, please.
Yes, please.
Also, you will find us on YouTube at Crook Irish Studios, on all podcast channels under Crook and Murder, where we have episodes of Crook and Murder, as well as episodes of the Stone Gauntlet, and Twitch at just Crook Irish, I believe. It's something like that. You'll find it.
You'll find it. You're
So,
watching it now. Come on.
anybody else got any shout outs?
I have a Ruth Bader Ginsburg bobblehead.
There you go. That's his shout out. A Ruth Bader
right.
bobblehead.
Ginsburg. Yeah. RBG.
So anyway, I'll go ahead and play the music. My name is Kenny Crook Irish Kirby.
I'm ready.
This is why we thank the guy everything. We don't need you singing. Keep it weird out there.
Yeah. I'm Maxwell Murder, and RBG says, keep it weird.
Oh, I like it. I'm Special Ed Alex.
Short bus Alex.
Nothing more to say.
I love it.
No, you didn't get demoted to special ed guest. You're still special guest. You're just
Special
No,
ed
no, no.
narrator.
special
No,
ed
I'm-
guest. You're
No,
just special guest.
nope, just Special Ed Alex. Nope,
Special ed Alex. I'll go with it.
Special Ed Alex. That's literally how I'm gonna introduce myself for at least 4 episodes after this.
You know
Yes.
what?
It's
I'll
okay.
take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I appreciate your dedication so much. You can count on a 2% bonus this year.
All right.
Well,
I'm gonna
bonuses
start-
are not necessarily related to salary, so is that going to be real money?
No.
Yeah. No.
I will
might
let
get-
you take one extra chance card in our next game of Monopoly.
I like
Whoa.
it. No, I want to get out of free card. Get out of
Get
free
a
jail
jail-
card.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
I
can
like
have.
that.
Get out of jail free card.
That doesn't break the game too bad.